Hello, I'm Misha Valt from Falk Outdoor, and today I'd like to go geocaching with you. I've also invited along a few good friends. Firstly, here we have Kirsten, Sarah, Ronja and Leonie, and together we're going to go treasure hunting. Geocaching is a modern form of treasure hunting, and all you need for this are navigation devices. In our case, either a Falk Lux or a Falk Ibex, because both devices allow you to find the treasure you're looking for in forests or even out in the fields. We'll now show you how all this works, and so let's get going, shall we? The biggest platform with over 1.8 million geocaches worldwide is geocaching.com. Here we've chosen a lovely cache nearby and transferred it to our GPS devices. On the device you can now look for the saved caches, for example around your current location. In addition to this, you can also restrict the search using specific criteria such as degree of difficulty, size or type of cache. All of the information about the geocache can be displayed on the device. Tips that may be helpful when searching for the cache are also saved. Thanks to the routable Falk Premium Outdoor Maps, it's very easy for us to navigate ourselves directly to the first stop. So we've now arrived at the first stop for the geocache. This means that here we get our first tip telling us where we need to head next. The girls are already searching hard and I'm really curious to see if they can find the hidden cache. We've now found the first tip on where to find the geocache. This means that in here there is what's known as a geocoordinate, which we will now enter into our navigation device, and this will then take us to the second point of the geocache, and from there we head on to the third and the fourth and so on. The cache is not always a simple tin. There are no limits to people's imagination with this, and so there are examples of caches that look like a perfectly normal battery, a screw, a rock, or even a paving slab. But what you're always sure to find is a logbook in which each finder of the cache records their details. We're now roughly 200 meters away from the next geocoordinate, and thanks to the great maps including the paths across fields and through forests, we're routed here in the best way possible, which means even on the paths we receive spoken instructions such as turn right or turn left. I'm already keen to find out what we'll find when we get to our destination just 200 meters away. We've now found the second geocache, which is hanging here on a cord. And when you unfasten the cord, it comes down from the birdhouse up above. And now we have the next coordinates. Sometimes when you're out geocaching, you also find things that you shouldn't come across in forests, namely rubbish. So if you find any rubbish, take it away with you. Geocachers all do this as a basic rule because there's no place for this sort of thing in the beautiful countryside. Another very important rule when geocaching is that we leave everything exactly as we found it, because the next people to search for the geocache do of course also want to spend a little time searching, and that's why we're shutting the lid again here, so that it doesn't look like anybody has been here before. This is very important. This one was a little bit tricky, but we did also read the cache description, which stated that we needed to take a bottle of water with us, and now we know why. But the girls were really clever in working out the solution here. They watched and saw that when water flows out at the bottom, they needed to block up the holes with their fingers. Great thinking, I'd say. And now, at last, it's time to search for the final cache, for the treasure, and I can't wait to find it. How about you girls?
Don't try to find or try to stand apart, and don't think that you're different 'cause you're not.
So, we've found the final cache, and there's loads of different things in here. Each person is allowed to take one thing out of the geocache. This is a basic rule, but if you take something out, you must put something back in to replace it, because otherwise the box will be empty. I'm taking out a geocaching coin, and we were really lucky to find one of these here, and in return for this, I'm putting in a geocaching coin of my own. This will now go on its travels, and I hope you had a lot of fun. Did you enjoy yourselves?
Yeah!
So I hope we've been able to give you a little flavour of what geocaching is all about. But what I'd also like to recommend to those of you who've not previously had much experience of geocaching and want to read more about the subject are these two books. First of all, the book The Adventure of Geocaching, a beautifully written children's book containing many tips on how you get started and exactly what equipment you need. And if you're already an experienced geocacher, try the book by Markus Grundl entitled Geocaching, which also contains a lot of useful tips on geocaching. And now it's time for us to say goodbye and wish you lots of fun on your adventures in the great outdoors the next time you decide to go geocaching using Falk products.
And don't think that you're different, 'cause you're not. Gonna do everything you say.